My name is Daniel, and at 36 I thought my marriage to Emily was unshakable. After almost a decade together, I believed we had weathered the storms that test most couples. Our life seemed steady, even if not perfect. But everything shifted in a way I never saw coming. I was on my way back from a business trip, originally set to return home on a Friday. When the meetings wrapped up early, I decided to surprise Emily by arriving a day sooner. I pictured a warm reunion, maybe a spontaneous dinner out to celebrate. Driving home, about 20 miles out, I noticed my gas tank was nearly empty. Not wanting to get stuck, I pulled off at the next exit to refuel. That's when things took a strange turn. As I left the gas station, I spotted a car that looked exactly like Emily's. Same make, same color, even the license plate seemed familiar. But it was parked in an unfamiliar neighborhood far from her usual spots. My first instinct was puzzlement. Why was she here? This wasn't near her regular stores or haunts. I brushed it off, thinking she might have an errand I didn't know about, but a nagging feeling lingered. I dialed her number. She picked up after a few rings, her breath slightly uneven. "Hey, I was just about to call," she said, her voice tight. She claimed she was running errands, nothing unusual, but something in her tone felt off. When I asked where she was, she hesitated, just a beat too long. That was the first warning sign. She said she was heading to the grocery store near our house. But her car had been moving in the opposite direction just moments before. I didn't call her out. Instead, I suggested meeting her at the store for dinner afterward. Her pause was heavy. "Sounds good," she finally said, but her words lacked warmth. My gut churned with unease. After hanging up, I saw her car speed by, easily pushing 90 miles an hour, rushing to the store to keep up her story. I took my time getting there, watching from a distance. There she was, standing outside the supermarket, fussing with her outfit and smoothing her hair in the car's mirror. She hadn't seen me yet, so I observed. It felt like watching someone cover their tracks. When I pulled up, she flashed a smile and acted as if everything was fine. She suggested we skip dinner out and just grab groceries to cook at home. I nodded, but my mind was spinning. In the store, she excused herself to the restroom. What should have been a quick visit dragged on for 15 minutes, with the sink running the entire time. No other sounds, just water. When she came out, she mumbled, "Sorry, I had to go." Her excuse felt flimsy. We bought some ready-made meals and drove home in silence. That night, I couldn't sleep, replaying every strange moment. The lies, the nervous edge, the odd detour, it all pointed to something I wasn't ready to face. Over the next few days, I became hyper-alert. Her phone, once barely used, was now glued to her hand. She texted constantly, locking the screen the moment she was done. When I asked who she was messaging, she brushed it off, work, or a friend from her book group. One night while she was in the shower, I checked her phone. Nothing obvious, no damning texts or photos. Either she was innocent or she was too careful. Then came the late nights. Her job sometimes demanded extra hours, but suddenly staying late became routine. One evening, I decided to surprise her at her office, only to find the parking lot deserted. Recalling the neighborhood where I'd seen her car before, I drove there. Sure enough, her car was parked outside the same house, next to a pickup truck. My grip tightened on the steering wheel as I parked down the street, watching. Half an hour later, the door opened. Emily stepped out with a man I later learned was her colleague, Mark. They were laughing, completely comfortable. The sight hit me like a blow. I snapped photos, knowing I might need proof later. I drove home, my mind in chaos. The next day, I played along, watching her closely. She described her late night at work, even mentioning sharing pizza with coworkers. The lie was polished, effortless. Over the next few days, I gathered more evidence. Every time she claimed to be working late, I drove by that house. Her car was always there. Finally, I confronted her. One evening, as she walked in with another weak excuse, I locked eyes with her. "Are you going to keep lying to me?" She played dumb. "What do you mean?" "I know about Mark," I said, my voice calm. "I've seen you at his house every time you said you were at work." For a moment, fear flickered in her eyes. Then she doubled down. "Mark, he's just a friend, he's struggling, and I've been helping him." "At his house at night?" I shot back. "Don't insult me." Her facade crumbled. She turned defensive, then teary. "Okay, I screwed up," she sobbed. "It was nothing. Nothing," I snapped. "You've been sneaking around for weeks, lying to my face." "That's not nothing." She begged for forgiveness, promising to end it, suggesting therapy, but the trust was shattered. "I'm done," I said, my voice cold. "This is over." She cried harder, pleading, but I walked away. That night, I packed a bag and left. The aftermath was chaotic. She flooded my phone with calls and texts, apologies, then anger, then desperation. I blocked her. Her friends and family reached out, urging me to give her a chance. Even her parents tried to guilt me, but I held my ground. I filed for divorce, cut all contact, and focused on moving forward. Months later, she called from an unknown number, insisting we needed to discuss selling the house. I agreed, but only through lawyers. Now I'm rebuilding, rediscovering old passions, thriving at work, and embracing my independence. Leaving was painful, but staying would have broken me. The divorce papers landed at Emily's door a week after our last call. I ensured everything went through my lawyer, no direct contact, no chance for manipulation. But Emily kept trying to insert herself. One evening as I left the gym, I saw her car across the street. She stepped out looking worn, her eyes swollen. "Daniel, please," she called. "Just 5 minutes." I kept walking. She followed, her voice cracking. "I made a mistake. Don't throw away 10 years over one mistake." I turned sharply. "One mistake? You lied for months. You came home every night and acted like everything was fine. That's not a mistake, it's a choice." She flinched but pushed on. "I ended it with Mark the day you left. I'll do anything to fix this." "It's too late," I said, opening my car door. "You didn't value us until we were gone." As I drove off, I saw her collapse in my rearview mirror. Part of me hurt, the part that loved her for a decade, but the bigger part knew I'd chosen right. Selling the house became our final fight. Emily stalled on signing the papers, hoping to force a meeting. When the market dipped, she panicked. Her lawyer proposed she'd sign if she got 60% of the profits. I laughed. "Tell her she gets half as the law requires or we go to court." 2 days later, she caved. The house sold within a month. Walking through the empty rooms one last time, I felt nothing. No longing, no anger, just relief. A month later, I met Jake, an old mutual friend, for drinks. He hesitated before saying, "Emily's telling people you were controlling, that you pushed her away." I nearly laughed. "And you believe her?" Jake shook his head. "But some do, she's struggling." I later heard she'd spun a tale. I'd isolated her, checked her phone, even driven her to the affair. The audacity was unreal. I stayed quiet at first, but when her lies reached my workplace, I acted. I shared screenshots of her texts admitting the affair with key people in our circle. Then I posted one vague message. "When lies fail, they attack the one telling the truth." The response was immediate. Friends pulled away from her. Her sister called her out publicly. Even Mark, her affair partner, denied her story in a leaked email. 6 months later, I received a letter, not from Emily, but from Mark. "Daniel, I owe you an apology," it began. "Emily told me you two were done, that you were seeing someone else. I didn't know the truth until you left." Attached were receipts, hotel bookings, messages planning their meetups during my trips. The affair had gone on for nearly a year. I didn't reply but kept the letter just in case. Now I live in a downtown high-rise. I travel for work now by choice, not duty. I date occasionally, nothing serious. I've learned to trust my gut again. As for Emily, I heard she moved to a new city, switched jobs. Maybe she's better off. Maybe not. That's not my story anymore. If this story resonated with you, please show your support by liking, sharing, and following for more real-life tales and emotional journeys. Your encouragement means everything and helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.